Hello and welcome back to Haz vs The Hype, Episode 3. And today we're going to be looking at Ex Nihilo's Blue Talisman Extrait. Is it as good as the original? Is it a bigger, bolder, better version of the original? I don't necessarily think it is. I'm going to go on to explain why. So here it is then, Blue Talisman Extrait de Parfum. Now here's the box. Standard Ex Nihilo box. And then if you take the slip cover off, we get the standard foam box, which is okay, but for a fragrance this expensive, I might expect better. And if you take the front off, there should be the fragrance just in there, housed nicely. We'll take it out, and here's the bottle. Now, having a look at the bottle, I'll just get the fingerprints off there. Nice bottle. Compared to the OG, it's a darker blue, which makes sense because this is the Extrait de Parfum. The original was an eau de parfum. And then there you go. You've got a logo on the top. You've got some information on the bottom there. This is 100 mils. And then you've got the cap, which is a nice metal. It's got blue inside of it. Lovely touch. Bottle's gorgeous. Can't complain. Pushes on. Non-magnetic. Not that sturdy, but it shouldn't come off. Right. Let's put one in the air. And one on the hand, because as we know, Ex Nihilo do great atomizers. We'll let it air out a bit, and then we'll go into first impressions of Blue Talisman Extrait. But just as that's airing out, I want to bring one thing to your attention. This is an Extrait de Parfum, and the way it's been marketed is it's supposed to be a bigger, bolder version of the original. So on here, it says, developed in close collaboration with Jordi Fernandez, who worked with Ex Nihilo for over 5 years. This Extrait version, and this is important, it explores new dimensions while remaining connected to the spirit of the original. Where the eau de parfum, the original, focused on citrus, amber and woods, the Extrait pivots towards a fruitier, more floral orientation anchored by a rich ambery base. So what they're saying is this is supposed to be bigger and bolder. It even states, this extrait represents a deeper, more immersive take on the original, designed to evoke a heightened emotional response through a denser, more luxurious composition. Now, they are bold claims, especially at the price. But the one thing I want to point out to you, I did spot it. Look at this. What do you see? For those eagle-eyed viewers there, you see 80% volume, which means that this Extrait de Parfum is 20% perfume oil. Now, to me, that's problematic because at the 20% level, I would say that that's a fairly low-level eau de parfum. Never mind an Extrait de Parfum. For me, Extrait should be 25% plus. So to sell an Extrait de Parfum at 20% volume, that's questionable. But anyway, let's see how this performs. I've put it in the air. Yes, it fills a room. I've put it on my hand. Let's go in and see what we get off the top. Now, pleasantly, and I'll just get the notes on the screen for you there. In this new version, the Extrait, you have pear and bergamot in the top. You've got orange blossom and jasmine sambac in the mid. And then you've got amberwood, ambrofix, sandalwood, musk and vanilla. Now, how it differs from the original version was more citric leading. Now, in the top of the original, you have pear, bergamot, which is the same as the new version, but you also had mandarin orange and ginger. Now, that's why I bought the original, because I love ginger. I also love pear. That's why I bought the original. Then you've got orange blossom and Georgie wood, musk, ambrofix, akigala wood and cedar. So there's some slight differences there. The original is more citric heavy, whereas this one seems to be more focused on the florals and the woods and the ambers. So what I get off the top, I get the pear. Pear's there. Pear's lovely. There's a little bit of bergamot, not too much. But what's interesting is the mid notes, the orange blossom and the jasmine sambac, they come through very quickly. I would say within the first 10-15 minutes, and certainly somewhat from the get-go, you can smell the orange blossom. Now, orange blossom is quite strong, and I don't particularly like orange blossom. Yes, that's where the orange fruity feel is coming from, but I just think it can be a bit overpowering, and certainly in this Extrait version, they've amped that right up. So that's great if you like orange blossom. If you don't like orange blossom, end the review here, and I'll see you in the next one. Anyway, jasmine sambac. Love jasmine. There's apparent white florals here. It comes through quite quickly. Certainly by the half an hour stage, you're going to be getting the white florals and the orange blossom, which is light, fruity, and somewhat white as well. And they coincide with the pear and the bergamot. But the opening, it's missing the orange, the pure orange, and it's missing the ginger. So it's missing that bit of sparkle and the little, the little bit of crispness, which is unfortunate. And what I'd say is the opening to this is probably a bit, it's not dark, but it's darker. And it's more rich, certainly, and it's more well-rounded. It's not bright and citrusy. It's much more kind of a fruity, white floral. It's a bit toned down, but it's certainly strong. It's certainly rich. And if I hadn't seen it was 20% volume, I would have said that certainly it feels that bit denser and that bit more powerful. So that's great. It's a twist on the opening. Is it a twist that I like? No, it's not, because I prefer the original composition, because I like it being citric heavy. But this one, certainly, for what I'm going to go on to explain shortly, I do think it works for this fragrance. So what I'm talking about with this is, for me, the original, it was certainly a spring and a summer fragrance. It was bright, it was citric, the opening was quite impactful, and it was a compliment getter, to be fair. The only real complaint with the original, and this is why I sold it, partially to fund the purchase of this so I can get it reviewed for you, was that it just didn't last. Opening was great, but once it went into the mid, you had some ambers, you had some woods. I felt it was a bit tame and a bit toned down. And the other thing is, when you've got Isoe Super and you've got Ambroxan, some people struggle to detect them notes a bit. They help it to project, help it to last, and help it to fill out. Now, I do struggle with that, and I must say, I struggle with it in this as well. But having tested it with other people can smell it. So that's down to your personal nose. So as I've said before, try it before you buy it. Try it on your skin. See how it develops for yourself. So yes, the original, I preferred the opening. Now, for me, this version, the Extrait, or apparent Extrait, I think this is more towards autumn and winter. The note composition would lend slightly more towards that, but certainly the way it comes across from the opening through the mid and into the dry down, I would say that this fragrance is better suited towards the back end of the year, when summer's at an end, autumn's here and winter's here. You could certainly wear it in them 2 months. I think it would work well. You could wear it in the summer because there is some citrus. There's a bit of orange blossom, but I think the original would be much better for that. And this is where the hype comes in, and this is where I've got a problem, because this Extrait version has been marketed by Geordie, really, and from the advertising I've seen in discussions, as a bigger, bolder, beefier version of the original, which makes me think it's the original with a couple of tweaks to make it project more, last longer, and it might be slightly different. Now, yes, the Blue Talisman DNA is in here, but I would say the scent smells quite different. They've removed some citruses, they've put in some florals, and they've put in this amberwood and ambrofix, which again, it's not natural. It's something that they've made to help the fragrance perform and pull it in a different direction. And that does become apparent. So for me, this isn't a better version of the original. It's a different version of the original. So if you're looking for something to wear spring and summer, you can wear the OG. Then you can wear this in the autumn and the winter. That's fantastic if you've got fortunes, or if you're a fragrance collector, or you just love Ex Nihilo or Blue Talisman. But for me, I'm a bit disappointed, really, because there's some citruses, but then I get orange blossom and jasmine. That's fine. Love jasmine. Orange blossom I don't particularly like. But when you come into the mid, a couple of hours in, it's basically just orange blossom. It really is. It's like, it's orange blossom dominant. And then you're getting some woods, you're getting a bit of musk, you're getting a hint of vanilla. It's warm, it's cozy, it's well-rounded, it's comforting. But you've got the amberwood and the ambrofix. Now, I'll just go and have a look what ambrofix is all about here, because this is something which they've created and put it in. So it's an ambery smell, close to Isoe Super and Ambroxan, woody, fresh, piney, nutty, cedarwood, floral, leather-like, slight tobacco note, dry, musky aftertaste, balsamic, amber-like, yada, yada, yada. So basically what they're saying here is it's a synthetic smell that smells like ambers, woods, musk. And that's basically what you're getting. Does it smell like that? Yes. Does it particularly smell great? Not necessarily. It smells synthetic. Obviously, it's not natural, but it doesn't smell natural neither. So you're getting something here which has been developed and boosted, and really it's been helped by a lot of synthetics. And for the price tag, I'm not sure it can justify it. So you've got the orange blossom, which dominates throughout the fragrance. You get a little bit of woods coming in. You get some vanilla to keep it slightly sweet. Is it a more masculine version compared to the original? To a degree. I think they're both perfectly unisex. Like I said, I prefer the note profile of the original. And I think this really, to give it the longevity that it needs, they've had to put the ambro fix and the amber wood and put more woods into this and remove some citruses, because as you know, citruses don't particularly last very long. So to get the longevity, they've changed the composition of the scent. And that's a bit disappointing for me. Now, the projection, I don't think, personally, this projects any better than the original, even though it's got the ISOE Super and Ambroxan, which is supposed to give it lift and projection and ping it off your skin. I just think it's quite heavy and it's quite dense. It does last well. The longevity on this, I'd say you're getting a solid 9 or 10 hours, in fairness, of reasonable performance. And by that, I mean from around here. Now, another thing I've come across is because of some of the notes in here, you can go nose blind to this quite quickly. Now, when I've wore it on a few occasions, I've tried it on 2 sprays, 4 sprays, 6 sprays. And for me, I think it works better on less sprays because I certainly go nose blind to it. But I've done the room test. So I'll wear it. I'll sit in quite a small room like this for 15 minutes doing whatever, having a look at how many subscribers I've got and things like that. And by the way, thank you. We now have over 900 subscribers. We're going towards 1,000. So if you can get us to 1,000 subscribers, that's great. Click subscribe. It's free, because once we get 1,000 subscribers and we get monetized, YouTube can help fund the channel with your support, and then I can get more fragrances like this and bring more reviews. Anyway, back to the review. So what was I saying? Yes. So after 15 minutes, I'll leave the room. I'll go downstairs, do something else for 5 minutes, clear my nose and come back into the room, and I'll see if the smell's there. And what I will say is when you come back in the room, it's very apparent that you've been in here wearing this. So I think it's a case of nose blindness to a degree, because I would say that the sillage on this is good, even though it doesn't feel like it's projecting very well when you're wearing it. I would say that it does follow you around, and if you're in one place, the sillage is nice. It's quite dense, it's quite heavy, but it does smell luxurious and rich. I will give them that. So the blend is very good. The blend is very smooth. It does smell fairly expensive. It's got a little touch of class, but for the price, I just expected more. Now, the projection on this, it's a Extrait de Parfum at 20%. It's no more than 2 feet. It rains into maybe 1.5 feet fairly quickly within the first few hours. So the projection on it, it's average. The sillage is very good. So if you're in company or in a room or moving around, it will follow you. And the longevity's solid. It does stick to your skin well. So they've done well with that, with the tweaks that they've made. It does last a long time. So that's great. So if you want something to get you through the day, it is work safe. It's non-offensive, it's pleasant, it's slightly more masculine than the original with the woody elements and the musk and stuff like that. So yeah, on that front, it's good so far as performance. Have they fixed the performance? Yes. Have they sacrificed the scent? Unfortunately, they have. So compared to the original, it's a different note profile. It's a different scent. It performs differently. The seasonality is different. Where I would wear it's different. I would say for the original, it's quite sporty, it's quite fun. I'd wear it in outdoor socials during the day rather than the night. I would say this leans towards the evening socials, the cooler or darker months. So I would wear this at work, whereas I wouldn't wear the original at work. So it differs in its profile quite substantially. Now for me, here is the kicker. And I've got to be honest, and I will be, the price. This 100ml bottle retails at £365.
What?
Wow. Now, the original was £260. So for the privilege of having the Extrait version, you're paying an extra £105. Now, that's quite a lot of money. You're paying close to a third more to get the Extrait version. Now, if you're just looking for a pumped up version of the original, you're going to be very sadly disappointed with this, because that's not what it is. It's a different scent which shares some of its DNA with the original. But the price is substantial. Now, I don't know how they're justifying that, because they've put a lot of synthetics in here compared to the naturals, what's in the original. So for me, the price should go down. It certainly shouldn't go up if you're moving from naturals to synthetics. But they've put quite a huge premium of over £100 for the privilege of this. This is why it's on the video Haz vs The Hype. Is this all hype? It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Because if I'm ranking it on a standalone fragrance, I think it's a good fragrance. I think the performance is good. The scent profile is good. The packaging is good. The bottle's really good. But the price is high. So all in all, it's a good fragrance. Now, for £365, do you want a good fragrance? No, you don't. You want a great fragrance for that price. And again, this is higher scents, and I'm reviewing the higher scents, the niche perfumery at the slightly higher prices. And I'm telling you whether you should buy them or not to try and save you some money. That's what I'm doing here. Because if you spent, in my opinion, £365 on this, and you expected a better version of the OG, you're sadly disappointed and you're crying into your cornflakes. So I'm here to save you. But if you want this on a standalone fragrance, it's a good fragrance, but not for the price. I can't recommend it at the price. It's just too high. It's just too much. If this was $265 for 100ml like the original, fair enough. Fair enough. I do prefer the original, but for the reasons I've said before, I prefer summery fragrances. I've got a lot of autumn and winter based stuff, and compared to them, this is quite tame in the sense of there's nothing controversial about it. There's nothing different that stands out. It hasn't got a mystery note in there that adds to it or gives it a twist. It's just a very work-safe fragrance that performs well. And if that's what you're after and you love the brand, then go for it. But for me, for such a hyped fragrance, and it was hyped because the original was hyped, and it's a very good seller. Now, I think what they've done, I think they've looked at that and thought, wow, we've got so many sales with this, we could sell a new powerful version of it and it'll sell like hotcakes. And to be honest, it probably has. Now, other reviewers I've seen of this have said this is great and this is better and, get this one. Again, the influencers, the shillers, they've probably been sent the bottle. I haven't been sent a bottle in my life, and I probably never will be, never mind. But even if I am, I'll still review it honestly. But I think they've been sent a bottle to review. A few of them, they've even said that they were invited to somewhere in London where they sat round, had dinner, tested the fragrance with the perfumer, got told the story, and of course they're all going to sit there and say, oh yes, Geordie, that's fantastic, brilliant, I'm going to wear it and tell my friends, please invite me again. Well, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. That's a different channel. Go and have fun over there. But for here, if you want honest opinions, this is what I'm going to tell you. The hype on this is real, but the fragrance doesn't deliver. It's overhyped, and it fails the test of Haz versus The Hype. So, in conclusion, Ex Nihilo's Blue Talisman, it's all hype, and it's left me feeling blue. And until next time, I will see you in the next one.